So I have gone ahead and started this recording. We are here with yet another game of the Reddit in-house 5v5 kind of tournament league. I guess it's called the Milkcast Star League for those of you who really care about putting a real name on it. I am going to be co-casting this game with Caffeine. That's your cue.
Is that my cue?
That's your cue.
How you doing, Milk?
I'm doing pretty well. Caffeine, for those who don't know, kind of one of the higher elo redditors. It's nice to co-cast with people. I like to ramble on about stupid stuff, and having a co-caster who can say, well, actually, Milk, you're a low elo scrub and you're wrong. That's nice, and also saying, hey, noob with a bad map awareness, check out top because there's a game going on. So I don't know. We just had 2 games with another another caster who actually casts for League of Girls, I think it's called. Has her own stream, casts a lot, things like that. So that was very nice, and now we are here with Caffeine, who can maybe help me with impart some of his high elo knowledge during this game. So this is going to be Team Little T-Rex Arms on red or purple versus Team mix of random in-house redditors. We have Megs from Team Too Heavy, which recently disbanded, unfortunately. Wally Marno, Banana, Baranabus, and Penguin, I think, are all from Wally Marno's Backpack. So, we might as well just call this Wally Marno's Backpack with Megs subbing. She thinks it's called Team All Girls, but I know for a fact that that Wally Marno is pretty much about as far away from being female as you could possibly be. So, he's quite grody. I'm only saying that because I know he's probably listening to the stream. So anyway, any thoughts on the picks and bans, Cap?
Yeah, it's a little interesting. I mean, you see the first ban coming out as Teemo. I don't know where that's coming from. I mean, I've seen him banned every now and then, but I don't think he's really that scary. But yeah, they're pretty standard bans. You got Ryze, pretty overpowered. Jax can be annoying if they have someone who's kind of a dedicated top laner and they don't like playing against a Jax. Shen's kind of, that global ban. Kind of there with Morgana from time to time. It really depends on the elo ranges. I think that stops off around 1800 or so. You kind of stop seeing Morgana be banned. And Udyr also is kind of an annoying pub stompy type hero.
Yeah. I think it is interesting. Teemo and Jax both have their own ways of countering auto attackers, right? Teemo with his blind, Jax with his dodge. Maybe we could see something like Fiora being picked up. Although they've already picked up Jarvan, so I don't know what that is. It is sort of an anti-auto attacker ban. I was expecting maybe like a Fiora, a Tryndamere, Master Yi, I don't know, but no, they did go ahead and pick up Jarvan. So I'm not so sure about that Teemo and Jax ban. Maybe it's just, honestly, it could just be a troll ban. Baranabas loves trolling me, and I love trolling him. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Shen, Morgana, sort of solo queue type bans. Ryze and Udyr are kind of like tier 2 ban worthy people, so who knows? I do think that maybe that Teemo Jax ban might have been a little bit of a troll, but
I think looking at kind of these picks that they have going on for their mid lane, Ahri versus Cassiopeia is always a really fun lane to watch because of how mobile Ahri is and how dependent on hitting skill shots Cassiopeia is. So it's always fun to see who kind of does the outplaying there because that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, Wally Marno actually picking up on Malphite. I don't think we've seen Wally Marno's jungle Malphite. He is a little bit prone to counter jungling. He doesn't have the fastest clear times, and he does fall behind quite heavily. If you just leave a small camp at Wraiths and Wolves, it is brutal when you're playing Malphite. We see everyone on blue team actually has Heal Ignite. Obviously, it's what I call a patented summoner skill troll, where you kind of select troll summoner spells, like, for instance, Revive Surge, and then try and get it as close to the game starting as possible so that I have to do my due diligence as a caster and do the whole like, oh yeah, well, running a team with Heal Ignite is very interesting in lane stage, gives you a lot of, and then they just go ahead and change it to like Flash Ignite or whatever. At any rate, so it does look, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what the team, like what the composition is going to be in terms of who goes to what lane. I'd say, correct me if I'm wrong, immediate thoughts for blue team is going to be Malphite jungle, Jarvan top, Ahri mid, and then a Lux Kog'Maw bot. And that is going to be against Lux Kog'Maw going against Soraka Corki, Cassiopeia against Ahri, as you mentioned, Shyvana against Malphite, and then Olaf up top against Jarvan. I don't know about that Olaf versus Jarvan pick. He can't escape the ulti. What do you think about that?
kind of unfortunate. I mean, I'm assuming that you know for sure that Malphite's going to be jungling because you know the player is a jungler. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that'll be kind of. I'm assuming it's going to be kind of a static lane up there. Because I mean, Jarvan, yeah, he can really jump on Olaf, but he can't really do a massive amount of damage with Olaf's kind of mobility after that. He's not going to be able to kill him in, you know, the 3 seconds that the arena's up. So I think it's going to be a lot of farming unless they get kind of some consistent ganks for one side.
And it is interesting to see the synergy between Jarvan and Malphite. I guess Corki is a very good pick against it, but maybe if they can lock down that Cassiopeia and she doesn't have flash in a team fight, it is going to be huge because that is a huge amount of AoE CC. It's I think it's a 3-second terrain generation, right? Jarvan's ulti. Plus, if you have a Malphite ulti on sort of to set up the Jarvan ulti, or if you have the Malphite ulti into the Jarvan ult, it's a lot of disables going down on the cast. Not so effective against Shyvana or Corki, as they do have escapes, but Soraka, Olaf, and Cassiopeia. If Soraka and Cass don't have flash, and then Olaf, regardless, going to be very good targets for that Jarvan ult. So we shall see how this game goes.
Yeah, like you're saying, if they do jump on Cassiopeia with that combo, that's 100% a one-team fight right there. Because I mean, there's no way she's gonna live through that burst. They're gonna be able to put out if they execute that. So I mean, that's probably gonna be their #1 priority.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Jarvan is, it's like it's so much longer than any comparable CC in an AOE. So it's like there are no 3-second AOE stuns, right? But a 3-second AOE terrain generation, of course, they can still auto attack, they can still move, but it's sort of like as long as they don't have that flash up, you're keeping them in a Lux laser, you're keeping them in an REQ, you're keeping them in, Kog'Maw obviously is probably just going to be auto attacking, but he does have some nice AoE, especially early mid game with his ulti. And then of course that Malphite ult is quite big. So blue team does have a lot of AoE potential against purple, and if they can just lock down Soraka, Cass, and Olaf, and then just hammer them with Lux, Malphite, Ahri, and then have Kog'Maw auto attacking from 700 range, it could be very, very, very good for purple. It is also interesting to note Shyvana is running Exhaust Smite, so if she doesn't have her dragon form up, she will also be unable to get out of that Jarvan Cataclysm. So quite a good pick. I really like Jarvan. It is also interesting to note though that both the Ahri and the Jarvan are running Heal Ignite. So three heals on the side of blue team. Jarvan obviously quite mobile. Ahri also quite mobile. However, if you use that EQ to gap close or if sometimes you want flash or your EQ combo to be used to set up a Jarvan ulti, he can change, like he can cover so much ground. And the lack of flash, I'm not so sure about that. I think it's probably going to be good against Olaf, who once you start a 1v1 fight with Olaf when he's low on health, it might turn bad for Barannabas on Jarvan, but we shall see if he's able to pick up a couple kills. It's also interesting, we rarely see Barannabas play anything other than AP mids for Team Wally Marno's backpack, and Megs often plays solo top, so they are doing a little bit of a lane switch here. We shall see exactly how that goes. At any rate, we're going to get into the game right now. Anything else to say about the picks, bans, summoner spells, skins, whatever?
Yeah, well, I think that's funny. Oops, hold on, I got the league bug. Let's just hope that I can wait for it to respond.
Yeah, I get that every game. And then the first time it happened, my heart kind of like froze, and I was like, "Is this gonna happen now?" But no, it does eventually get back in if you just click wait for league to respond. So I do like that Ahri Midnight skin, and I do like that Earthrider Corki skin, and Broloff. 3 fantastic skins. I think Midnight Ahri is probably the best splash art of any skin, to be honest. That lighting effect from her orb, the way it kind of cascades down that cloth, very, very well done skin. Earth, sort of like the thematic of it, I love that too. And then of course Broloff, pretty damn fine. Whenever I hear an Olaf these days, I think of Broloff. I don't even I don't even think of his voice, which is like faster to battle, and I always think like chug chug.
Exactly.
Kaboom, baby. So are you in?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, cool.
And something I was about to say before I kind of had the disconnect is kind of looking at the team comps themselves. You see that blue team kind of has the man mode all in team fight comp where they're kind of just going to blow all those ults and get them all and try to do it in one big AoE burst.
Yep.
Whereas you see the purple team kind of has some good kiting abilities, other than Cassiopeia, which is why I was emphasizing the point that if they jump on her, it's going to be a one-team fight. But you know, like you were saying, Corki, Shyvana, they're very mobile, and those are kind of high damage targets, so they're going to be kind of safe in those team fights as long as they pull off their kiting correctly.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Wale Marno, I think he's a fantastic jungler, and his elo is relatively low. I think he's sitting either in the 1500s or maybe the low 1600s, but he actually really does play like a very high-level jungler. Very, very good at counter jungling, knowing the timers, knowing when to dragon, knowing how to gank. Very, very, very aggressive with his ganks, and we might see that not so much on Malphite, but you see whether he's a Skarner or an Udyr, he loves kind of just blowing all of his summoners to try and help out his lanes. And it really does snowball the games in favor of his team in most of the games they've played. I think they've only lost one game so far, and it was sort of against like a somewhat cheesy kind of kill lane comp down bot. But it's going to be interesting to see him playing Malphite. And anyway, so the point is he doesn't really like Shyvana because she doesn't really have that kind of like early CC where you can flash in and get, you know, a stun down or something. However, it is, I think, a very good pick against this AoE team comp. She's one of the few junglers who can really reset a team fight safely. So tanky when she has that dragon form up. As long as she knows to kind of just do her thing, get some CS, get some farm, get tanky, get, you know, either a Warmogs or Frozen Mallet or whatever. But against the Jarvan, the Malphite, the Ahri, the Lux, if you can really dragon form through the other team like a bowling ball, you might be doing, you know, you might be able to really counter jungle them very heavily. Shyvana actually didn't buy any items.
Oh man, that's gotta be a mistake.
She is gonna be taken down very low. She doesn't have any health pots. That has to be a mistake. Shyvana, pay attention. I think she just figured it out. By the way, you might want to turn on chat in case there are any messages you're missing. It is disabled by default, so maybe I was expecting maybe I'm going to get a message saying, oh shit, I forgot to buy items or something like that. At any rate, so down bot we do see that Lux Cog lane against Soraka Corki, mid lane Ahri versus Cass, top lane Jarvan versus Olaf, and then of course Shyvana, who didn't buy any items but now is able to go back and get boots and cloth and a health pot versus Malphite in the jungle. So Malphite, I think, is a little bit lucky that Shyvana didn't start items because this is when Malphite's really at his weakest, pre-4. He has a somewhat slow clear time, and then, you know, Shyvana might have been able to kind of swoop in, take, you know, the wraiths and the red buff, but thankfully that didn't happen. Wale Marno is able to just kind of do a full clear.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, I didn't know if Soraka was able to catch Malphite in a CV at all, but if they saw that he started regrowth and one health potion, if I was at Shyvana, I'd be all over his jungle, because that's a really small amount of sustain, and he's really easy to kill. If
we check out the vision red team has, they actually see that the Wraith camp is gone, and they have that ward there, so I'm sure that they've just spotted the fact that Malphite was kind of poking around down bot. The CV is not actually going to pick them up, and this could be bad for Soraka. Malphite is around down bot. He is waiting in that lane, and there we go. Soraka has caught sight of... Oh, and actually forced to flash over the wall there. Didn't want to kind of risk it with the long way around. Wants to get back to lane. And now this is very advantageous for blue team. They have a very heavily pushed lane. The enemy team psychologically is at a disadvantage because they know Malphite's in the area with double buff. And Soraka has her flash down. So it looks like Corki is just going to play very passive for now. You know, obviously as spectators, we sort of see what the other team doesn't have a chance to see, and it's interesting to look at just the way people play based on sort of like what they expect versus what is actually kind of like, you know, what we can actually see as spectators. So for instance, right now, Soraka has no idea, Soraka and Corki have no idea where the Malphite is. They have no ward in Tri-Brush, no ward in the far bot brush, but we know that Malphite is back up in the upper side of his jungle, clearing things out. Shyvana looks like she's going to be heading mid against Ahri. Malphite is in the area. Cassiopeia lands him. Doesn't actually land that miasma. Olaf is quite pushed up top, however, Burnibus has unfortunately run out of mana already. So he's not going to be able to get that CC. That almost certainly would have been first blood if Burnibus would have you know, had that CC down. However, he only has that cloth. Has he already used 4 health potions? Wow.
Yeah, it looks like he has.
If that's the case, this Olaf is doing just a tremendous job able to shut down shut down Jarvan. However, Wally Marno doing the smart thing here, kind of zoning out the enemy Olaf, who has lost quite a fair amount of CS and XP, about an entire... not as much as he could have, but actually Malphite's still sticking around in that brush up there. Meanwhile, Shyvana is going to do the smart thing, say, "Yep, Malphite's wasting a lot of time up top. I'm going to counter jungle." And we'll see. If she leaves a small Wraith, Malphite is very, very, very slow single target. And it looks like that is in fact what she's going to do. So very good, very nice play from Shiv. Is really going to slow down Malphite's AoE jungle clear times. Cassiopeia taking a lot of damage from Meg's mid, who I think is going to hit level 6 off of this creep wave. Shyvana getting caught, with vision from these creeps that pass by, so they know that she's over there. They know she's counter jungling, but really there's not a whole lot Malphite's going to be able to do. And he is in fact going in for the gank rather than going in to clear things out. However, maybe it looks like Lux is maybe going to help him out a little bit by clearing out this big golem. Malphite, rather than going to clear his own wraiths, gonna go ahead and steal the enemies, because he knows they just saw Shyvana quite low on health down bot. I guess presume that she backed off. So Wally Marno doing a nice job to leave one creep there. Megs is now level 6. Ari's only level 5. We might see a kill here. Ari does have both heal and ignite up. She has a big advantage, however. The lane is very safely pushed to Cass. If she can deny this XP, it could be quite good for her. Never know. So she's going to back off. Shyvana's in the area without ult. Still only level 5, but 7 minutes into the game. That's sort of expected. What do you want to see from red team, and what do you want to see from blue team? Let's get some high elo analysis going on here.
Well, first off, I've been watching the bot lane, and blue team's trying to force a lot of exchanges. Lux is hitting some nice snares. As you see, she's doing that right now, actually.
Oh, wow, actually lots of damage going on Soraka. Flash in from Dapper Penguin. Could be a kill here. There is first blood. Very nicely done from Kog'Maw to kind of go super, man mode, aggression, and just go pick up that first blood after Lux was able to hit a bind. However, Lux face checking his brother against Gorky, misses the bind. Is quite low on health. Actually, she's put level 3 points into shield. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I find that pretty standard for this lane they've got going. Just like I said, they were trading a lot. And,
yeah, Megs, by the way, using her ulti and her ignite, and also even that heal to just totally secure the kill on Cass. Doesn't really need that flash because she is so mobile with 3 stacks of that, three ticks of that ulti. So nice job from Megs. Anyway, bot lane.
Yeah. So they were exchanging a lot, but Kog'Maw was falling a bit behind in CS. You can see right now, even after that kill, he's still a few behind. I'm sure he'll catch up quickly. And another thing that was interesting is Soraka had flash up during that engagement, and she decided not to use it and ended up giving first blood.
Yep. Oh wow, Olaf gets taken down by Baranabas up top. I guess it looks like the ulti was used, so maybe Baranabas with that Heart of Gold and cloth armor. I don't think Olaf had been back to shop yet. He, I think, just went back to pick up double Durans, in fact. What do you think about that Duran's Blade build on Olaf? You often see them go for maybe a Wriggles.
Yeah, that's very rare. I mean, he's going for a very aggressive playstyle. I guess he's been bossing around Jarvan and lane by looking at CS, so he's kind of going to push that advantage a little harder and give himself a really strong early game, try to force that Jarvan out of lane.
Yeah, both of them have now picked up the Ninja Tabi. I think that's going to be a little bit more effective against Jarvan than it will be against Olaf. Jarvan obviously with mostly physical damage in his kit. Olaf has maxed that Undertow, which is of course 220 true damage. By the way, Jarvan picking up a green pot. I think this isn't so much about the viability of the green pot, it's just more Baranabas's. Either he's trolling me or he really does appreciate it, but he always picks up these green pots for the 8% crit chance. I played against it. Pretty much what he does, he pops that green pot and then he just constantly auto-attacks you, knowing that he's going to win a trade. So we shall see. Jarvan picked up by a ward up top. Looks like they're maybe going to group up and go for a dragon here. Not Baron, it hasn't even spawned yet. Megs, as Ari down bot, has that ulti up. Malphite is in the area, picked up on a ward. I think they might have eyes on Megs, and it looks like she's going to go in. She's going to miss the charm. However, Soraka is in a bad place. She's only level 5. She is caught between, caught out from her turret. But no, it looks like instead, blue team just going to go for a little bit of an early dragon here. I think Lux is going to want to get in there and put the shield down on Malphite, who is actually losing a lot of health. That Lux shield is a little bit unique in that right now it's a 130 health shield. However, it can hit you twice. So in an ideal circumstance, it can give you, even though it's only level 6, level 3, it can give you 230 plus 12, which is actually, it is in an ideal circumstance, I think the largest shield in the game. If you shield all 5 of your teammates, it is absolutely huge. So Lux support, a little bit underrated. Maybe one of those supports who never really never really got played a whole lot because of the power of sustain champs. However, I think she is getting, a little bit more play since those nerfs. It is going to be interesting to see if she can put any damage out. She does have some decent CC. However, her ulti, her E, her Q, all of them dealing significant amounts of magic damage. We shall see. Any thoughts on Lux support, by the way?
Oh yeah, I really enjoy watching Lux support. I myself can't play it, but I know some very good players who can, and I just find it really hard to manage how squishy she is.
Yeah.
But it takes really good positioning and really good timing with your skill shots, but when you do, she has a huge amount of CC, and it kind of builds for that kill lane.
Yep. Corki actually forced to use his Valkyrie to get away. I think they're just a little bit afraid. Wow, Kog'Maw actually putting a lot of damage down. I think he got a crit with that Zeal. And you can see there, that Lux is right now at full health after taking a little bit of Gatling gun, an auto attack or 2, and a big one, just because that shield was perfectly. Oh wow, very good job. Gets the auto attack off, using that passive very nicely, and Girl Scout just forced to play so passive. I would like to see Soraka put down a ward in this brush. Lux,
I agree.
Lux very burst heavy, but she does have one of her drawbacks, especially as an AP mid, is her cooldowns are quite long. So, I mean, it would be nice to see them kind of abuse her. Wow, a nice double stun and a double E going off. Just really doing a great job with these skill shots this game. It is also interesting to note that Lux actually has 4 skill shots. Oh, sorry, up top, yeah, we see that Jarvan ulti is just so strong. To keep Olaf in place for such. Brolof saying, "Ugh, your mom." I just love that skin. It's fantastic. Yeah, Lux one of the few champions in this game who has 4 non-targeted abilities, 4 skill shots. So obviously a big amount of playing Lux is being able to hit the skill shots. She just gets a nice Q and a nice E onto that Corki. Corki does have 60 MR right now, and Lux is actually not running. She is running 10 spell pen, but it's not really about the damage right now. She has also maxed that W. Exhaust actually going down. Malphite is around, gets the gank successfully. Oh, and a very nice max range bind. That snare was huge. Just gonna do a little bit of work to keep him alive, however, not gonna be enough. And Soraka might actually die now too. That Lux shield doing an excellent job to keep him alive. And Wale Marno forced to flash away. However, was able to pick up that kill. So very nicely done. He's going to be safely in this brush. Shyvana and Cass, neither of them are around to pick up a kill. Ooh, and this could be bad for Belly Ring, who gets caught by Jarvan and Ahri. I think Shyvana knew that the enemy jungler had just ganked bot, but didn't anticipate the fact that the AP mid and the solo top were around. There are some pings, pinging to B. I think that's going to be from blue team. I think maybe afraid of that smite steal, but it doesn't even matter. Unfortunately, with this spectator mode, we don't actually know who is using those retreat pings, which is a little bit of an oversight on their part. It would be, maybe it was Shyvana saying, "Hey guys, like we're not going to engage," or maybe it was, Wale Marno saying, "Guys, don't let Shyvana smite steal it," or something like that. At any rate, so we are now 14 minutes of the game, a 6-0 kill lead for blue team, 4K gold in the advantage, in the lead, sorry. Those kills are, 2 of them are on Jarvan and 2 of them are in Cog, 1 is on Ahri and 1 is on Lucky. So bot lane, 3-0 right now, half of the kills are down bot. Jarvan picking up 2 and Ahri of course picking up 1 earlier on with that kill mid. So very nicely done from all the lanes are sort of independently winning. Malphite not really being such a threat right now. It isn't really a game that's kind of in the favor of blue because of these Malphite ganks, which is often, it's sort of different from what we usually see, where Wale Marno, ooh, and Lux actually going for the steal on that blue, didn't quite time it perfectly, but Cass really doesn't have a lot of high burst in terms of like something that you can use to hit, knock down those enemy creeps. Her Twin Fang right now is only dealing 182 damage, whereas Lux's laser, her ulti, of course, is dealing 332. So with a little bit of a better timing, Lux would have certainly been able to steal that blue buff away from Crest, which would have been excellent to see. Looks like Olaf gets taken down very low. Jarvan does have his ulti up. There's the Q, the Dragon Strike, and the Ignite, able to secure that kill nicely on Olaf. Jarvan just being so dominant. We don't see Baranabas play much solo top, however. Where's that?
In the mid lane as well.
Mid lane. Oh, and Megs actually gets caught in turret range. Able to pick up the kill, but not before dying. I think a very nice stun. I did actually, you know what? I'm going to go back and watch that using this new replay feature.
Megs was sitting there for a little while waiting in that bush for Cassiopeia to push
I see.
She did, and she caught her.
She missed the charm.
But she flashed. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
The turret range.
Yeah. One thing is that obviously a problem with Ahri is that you want to keep your mouse over them for the skill shots. You know, your Q, your W, your Q and your E are line missile skill shots. So you want to put your mouse over the enemy and cast those spells. But what that means is that you often use your ulti, which has sort of a lot of range. You don't want to get on top of Cass. You certainly don't want to face her, and you don't want to get stunned under turret range. So a little bit of misplay there from Megs. It is kind of a little bit difficult to alternate the line missile skill shots and then reposition your mouse to kind of use that Ahri ult to head in a different direction. Wale Marno was around down bot, looking to get a little bit of a gank going, but instead is going to back off, go to the enemy jungle, find the Shyvana. Olaf is around. This could be bad for Wale Marno. He does have red buff, Shyvana doesn't. However, Olaf is around. Baranabas walking through turret range. Oh, and a nice map by able to pick up the Cassiopeia. Her ulti is still down for just a couple more seconds. It's up in 5 seconds now. This is almost certainly going to be a kill on Baranabas, but oh, wow! And just 20 health. Meg's actually going in there now. Doesn't have another tick of her ulti. Definitely a trade that went in favor of red team. Especially when you're so far ahead like that Jarvan, like the Ahri, you don't want to lose a 3-1 advantage, a 3-0 advantage and turn it into a 3-1. Because when you're that far ahead, you want more than just a 1-for-1 exchange. You know, you want to pick up kills, especially when it means giving up control of Dragon. So a little bit of misplay coming out of the hands of blue team. Did a 2-for-1 tower dive, was able to pick up the Cassiopeia. However, they used so many ultis and so many summoners, and in the end, it was only a 2-for-1 exchange. So we'll see. Maybe Lux is gonna get the laser, and no, and nice might. Oh, but wow, so much damage going on the hand, going down on the Olaf, with that Lux laser and that E. And that Lux Q. Spotting out the. Ooh, and Soraka this time forced the flash away from that bind, which would have certainly hit, and certainly would have been a kill on Soraka. So Banana's done a great job with Lux this game, the support Lux. Really making excellent use of those skill shots. Has decided to stop maxing the Prismatic Barrier Shield and instead started maxing Lucid Singularity for, I guess, a little bit more damage and a bigger slow. So Lux actually is going to sort of transition it into sort of a second AP carry for the blue team. In terms of items, she has built up that Cage's Lucky Pick, likely going to be built into a Deathfire Grasp.
Yeah, you see them normally do that. Sports will do it. They'll max their shield for laning phase, and then as soon as they leave laning phase, they'll just kind of switch it over to some more damage or some more utility. Yeah,
and Lux, by the way, has one of the most intricate combos in the game. If you want to maximize your damage, obviously it means getting auto attacks in for the Illumination Flare for passive. So it's something like we might see if she builds up that DFG, it's going to be, hitting the DFG, then the Q, then the E. Actually, we see a little bit of a skirmish up top. Jarvan getting caught by 3. Doesn't have flash up. Might go down. Uses that heal. Alright, lands a charm on Olaf and forces the heal, but it's not going to be enough. It does have a diminished effect. Jarvan, and he misses his E over the wall. Certainly would have been able to escape from that. Megs needs to be careful not to face check against Cassiopeia, who does now have her ulti up as well as Ignite. So a little bit of misplay there from Baranabas. Missed his E over the wall. Oh, and I hope Malphite doesn't happen to him exactly what happened to to Jarvan. Cassiopeia actually heading behind. Doesn't use that ulti. Oh, and this could be an ulti here. The Malphite ulti going down on the hands of Cass. Gets the stun off. She isn't able to get her ulti down, in fact. However, it looks like Megs is going to die. There's the kill. Malphite doesn't want to lose that Oracles, but then again, neither does Shiv, and it looks like instead Malphite is just going to go ahead and run. He doesn't have flash. He doesn't have ulti. It is going to be a long walk back to his turret. Using that Q to get his move speed up, and he is going to make a safe escape with those Merc Treads, able to really just shut down the effectiveness of Olaf's Undertow. At any rate, Yeah.
He had a strong juke there as well when he was heading into that single bush.
Yeah.
He made it look like he was walking top, so Olaf threw the axe across him towards top.
Oh,
and
I
he
see.
jutted down through the bush, and then
Yeah.
Olaf wasn't able to go pick up his axe, or he would have created too much distance.
Yeah, nice job.
Very good juking.
Barnabas actually, I don't think there's a ward over here on red. There is certainly a ward for red team. So Barnabas does have vision. Cassiopeia, by the way, didn't get the ulti off in that last fight, which is, you know, that was the difference between picking up a kill and dying. And I think she just waited a little bit too long. When Malphite was heading through this brush here near red, she was actually kind of facing Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia obviously will stun anyone looking at her, sort of a Medusa-like ulti. But she didn't actually use it when Malphite was looking. That is actually sort of funny. I didn't notice that. Malphite, obviously, in terms of lore, he's a Shard of the Monolith, so he's made out of stone. Cassiopeia ulting Malphite to turn him into stone. It's like sort of that Teemo using his blind on Lee Sin. How does that work sort of interaction? At any rate, right now we do see red has equalized a little bit. It is now 10-5. I think it was just 6-0, so they really have closed down that kill lead. They were able to pick up a dragon. Still 2 turrets down for red and none for blue, so blue team doing a great job of pushing. Almost bot turret nearly at full health, and both top and mid above half. So about a 4k gold lead in favor of blue, but I think that is lower than what we saw earlier. Some nice skirmishes going sort of in favor of red, because if you obviously get a 1-for-1 or 2-for-1, it is a little bit better than you'd expect. Who is that? Malphite going very low to red buff. And I think that maybe you want to see that going to Kog'Maw from now on. We are 20 minutes in the game. Baron is on the table. Barnabas is kind of just spasming in the Baron pit. I don't even know what he's doing. Looks like a flash ulti from Cassiopeia clips the Meg. However, she is, of course, going to be able to use that ulti to escape. And a nice charm going to go out onto the Porky. Malphite had backed off. Lux had backed off as she was quite low in health. And that is going to be a 0-for-0 exchange. No one's going to go down. However, some summoners, some ultis were used. Cassiopeia using that flash is very risky, because when they have Jarvan and Malphite, it can be a lot of trouble if they fight in the next... what is that? What is the cooldown on flash? About 3 minutes. If they fight in the next 3 minutes, if Jarvan can get that ulti down on a cast, it is going to be brutal for her. She is a champion who loves to kite. She has that self-move speed, steroid. She has that slow, and she really wants to get those skill shots down, hit them, and then back up, reposition, and keep spamming out those Twin Fang poisons. If you're trapped in a Jarvan ulti, gonna be a little bit more difficult to do that. Oh, and very smart play from Megs. Actually gets taken very low, but it is just a bait. There we go. A nice job from blue team to pick it up. However, Megs getting a little bit too low on health, and now Shyvana losing the Oracle. Double kill for Jarvan. A nice ulti from Malphite. He might be able to flash over the wall instead of using that Valkyrie. Lux maybe going to go to pick that up with laser, but no, he's just way too high on health. 63 MR around Soraka plus 560 health. They were, however, able to pick up mid-turret out of that. However, it does look like Olaf is just going to push this wave into the turret and maybe also get a little bit of damage down. Certainly going to be able to take this turret. No one from the team around to stop it. However, at the same time, Banana zoning out the enemy team with her laugh, which is one of the most annoying things in the world. Oh god. Taking another turret, so now the turret advantage is 4-for-1, and maybe even going to be a 5th one picked up here for blue team down mid. Porky going in, going to put that Gatling gun down on the Malphite. A little bit of an intricate interaction there between Porky and Malphite. Porky's Gatling gun reduces armor. Malphite, obviously a champion who scales very well with armor, not only because his Brutal Strikes gives him a 20% armor steroid, but also because his E scales off of the amount of... The damage E will deal is based off the amount of armor you have. So Porky using his Gatling gun on Malphite will actually reduce a little bit of the damage he does. At any rate, blue team able to pick up yet another dragon. Jarvan has his ulti up in 1 second now. He's going to go over that wall. Can Soraka flash out in time? She does flash. Shyvana has her ulti up. Oh, and I think a little bit of a misplay there. Cassiopeia would have certainly been the much better target there. Shyvana able to just get out of there. However, so much damage going on in the hands of Cass. Dapper Penguin gets a nice ulti off on Olaf, Porky, and Soraka. The bind just barely missing, and Barnabas escaping with very, very low health. That was a 1-for-0 exchange. Barnabas, I think, a little bit too, kind of, you know, a little bit too eager to use that ulti on the Shyvana. Right as Cassiopeia turned the corner, and a very nice blind bind onto the Porky. Very well done there. Kog'Maw straight out buying an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer. He was just rolling in the dough. Went back and spent about at least 4K gold in a single instant. Really just shows how dominant they are. However, it also shows, maybe that exchange just then would have been a little bit different if he had that IE and a Zeal, for instance, and didn't keep as much gold in his inventory. It's sort of like in StarCraft 2, if you were winning a fight with all this, a couple thousand minerals in your in your resource bar, it's nice that you're that far ahead, but really, you'd be winning the fight much harder if you'd actually used your resources a little more efficiently. Resources not as important maybe in League of Legends as in StarCraft, however it is still very, very important, of course, to use your resources as effectively as possible. You see Olaf has picked up his Warmogs and has stacked it to, he's just bought it, so he's just starting to stack it now, and that is a very late game build. We might see Shyvana and Olaf prove to be a very brutal tank line for blue team. However, Kog'Maw, one of the best tank shredders in that game with the Bio-Arcane Barrage, dealing 6% bonus 6% of the enemy's HP in magic damage, which is huge. So, he does have that IEPD. Looks like blue team has cleared wards on Baron, and is now actually going to go ahead and start taking it. Shyvana not in a position to contest this. She's just gone back to buy a Wit's End. Certainly not going to be worth getting a Baron for that. However, red team now certainly knows, and there isn't going to be any potential for a smite. Maybe if the Lux was on the red team. So blue, at any rate, that is a free, uncontested Baron from blue, and now they might want to go back and shop up, or they might just want to go ahead and push. Malphite does have 1,500 gold, but either way, they should commit one way or the other and make either a strong push now or a shop and then make a strong push later. Blue team sees that the enemy blue buff is up. Shyvana is kind of waiting in the wings to go ahead and start taking that. Hopefully this doesn't turn out badly for blue team. They better not get baited into a 2v5 or a 3v5 here. Malphite is not around. Olaf has just put on, and a nice job from Lux. Able to get that down. Shyvana does have red buff. Ults in, puts the exhaust down on Lux. Forced to flash away. Kog'Maw using that Void Ooze to get the slowdown. Olaf just barely missing his Undertow. Interesting to note, Soraka not yet picking up that Shurelya's. She does have the 550 gold needed for the recipe to combine that. Oh, and that time around the Lux laser does in fact pick it up. Lux is level 12, so she has the level 2 laser dealing 502 magic damage. So very nice job. Soraka actually getting caught out by Jarvan. I think a little bit of a overcommit from Baranabas last as he stands alone in his ulti. But I think a little bit of an overcommit from blue. Now they don't have that Jarvan ulti on cooldown for this long turret siege. Jarvan is, however, going to go back and buy a Bloodthirster. Double Bloodthirster Jarvan! I didn't pick this up earlier. I had the gold tab open a little too long, and I didn't actually see. Sort of an interesting build. He has already fully stacked one of the Bloodthirsters, giving him 300 attack damage. He's going to have 346 AD when he finally completes that. Cassiopeia actually getting caught by a nice Lux binding, takes a little bit of damage. But there are no minions at the turret to tank, so they are not going to decide to go in on that. 28 minutes in the game. What do you want to see from red?
From red, they don't really have much they can do right now. Cassiopeia is kind of irrelevant. She's been forced to build tanky.
Oh
so
wow!
She has no damage.
Yeah.
Olaf as well went for that Warmog, so he really is not putting out any more damage. They're too nerfed right now.
Ooh, and Moshi Blood actually using that ulti, not in an ideal position. Sorry, not at an ideal time. They didn't actually engage, so now that Olaf ulti is going to be down for the next fight. Wale Marno gets caught out by all 5, however, he is so tanky, and he's putting so much damage onto Cass. Cass barely getting that ulti off in time, and I don't think a single stun going on. That is a 3-4 exchange so far. Olaf almost certainly going to go down. Corki gets attacked by that Malphite ulti. There's the ulti as the finisher. That is going to be a surrender vote, almost certainly. A 5-4 exchange with Baron when you're pushed up to the enemy base, and that was very well played by blue team, able to really take control of that early mid game. After getting I think it was a 6-0 lead, they sort of threw it away to a small degree by going for those greedy dives. However, it wasn't enough for red team to go ahead and take back control of the game. When you have a Jarvan with double GP5 and 2 Bloodthirsters and you can't kill him, you know what? You're really not. The game's not looking so good for you. Couple of chances where red team maybe could have turned it around. A Baron steal with Shyvana ulting over the wall and getting a smite down, something like that. A big play, an ace, a big push, a Baron steal. A good dragon fight. Something like that maybe could have kept red team in the game. However, it was just exchange after exchange in favor of blue. So well played from them. Anything to note? I did note, by the way, I think Lux had a little bit more AP than Cassiopeia at the end, and when the enemy support has as much AP with 27 CS as your 162 CS Cassiopeia, not in such a good position. So anything to note? Comments?
Yeah, I mean, I just say I think definitely Lux was the MVP there for blue team, mostly because she just snowballed that bot lane.
Yeah, really,
and
such
even
a
if
great
the other
job.
teams lost, yeah, even if the other lanes lost, which they didn't, every single lane won, so it was pretty much a guaranteed win. But even if they lost, that Kog'Maw would have been extremely farmed, and he would have snowballed very easily. And the other funny thing is that Jarvan with the double Bloodthirsters, his ult was 800 physical damage. So,
wow.
I mean, he just became some giant physical assassin even instead of a tank.
Yeah.
So very well played.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice play coming out of blue team. Sort of a more snowbally game than what would I guess be ideal for a Cassidy game, Milcast. But still very interesting to watch. Lux, obviously a little bit of an off meta support. She has no sustain, and that shield, not really. It is, I guess, in an ideal situation, it's probably the best shield in the game. However, it is a skill shot. It's hard to line up your entire team to hit them. It's hard to kind of like have the first bounce be entirely removed and soak up a lot of damage, and then get the second bounce to also soak up damage, so things like that. But at any rate, she really did a fantastic job zoning out. Her score isn't so great. They had 19 kills among blue team, and Soraka was only, Lux was only actually part of 4 of them, 1 kill and 3 assists. However, that isn't to say that she wasn't a huge contribution to her team. Tons and tons and tons of, like such a big threat down bot, able to really zone out the enemy Corki, always being forced to use his Valkyrie to escape. So even though they didn't really turn it into a lot of kills, they picked up a 60 CS advantage bot lane and really just destroyed that lane and snowballed the game. So I'm going to go ahead, just a reminder, this VOD will be posted within the hour at youtube.com/milcast. For those of you who are watching the VOD, twitch.tv/milcast or milcast.com, or where you can check out the stream live. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and stop casting for now, as it is now 3 a.m. in EST and most of our viewers are off. So I might actually, believe it or not, I still play this game, and I might actually play my first game of the day now. So, Caffeine, thanks a lot for casting with me. I appreciated the high elo advice, as I have, of course, a low elo scrub. So hopefully we can, maybe cast some more games at a later date.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, man.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. GGWP, and great job from Blue Team to take home the victory.